Hey everybody, Joshua Laycock here. I had some interesting conversations today, and someone said something to me which I think they meant it in a puzzling kind of way. They were puzzled by something that I had done. I took it as a tremendous compliment, because why not? And I think I confused them a little bit, which was, look, I don't do things by the book, necessarily. I don't go in a different direction just for the sake of going in a different direction, but I'm not hamstrung or confined by the way it's always been done, or it's just the way it is. I never really bought into that. I never have, and I've never minded sticking out if I felt that the reason why I was maybe swimming against the current was for the right reason. And that's not just the way you dress and the way you act, but that also goes into things like, I know so many people that held back in school because they didn't want to be seen as the smart person, or they didn't want to be seen as someone who, always tried to have the answer when the teachers were asking things. I knew people who didn't get to know teachers because they didn't want to be seen as the brown noser, whatever the hell that means. And these were things that I was never afraid of. Maybe partially it was beautiful cluelessness, but I always just thought, thinking about something, looking for solutions to problems creatively, and not being afraid of standing out has really benefited me in my life and in my career. And as I have more and more conversations with my new employer and all of these sorts of things, I decided that I'm going to be honest with them and true to myself. And that means there are things that I think that they do really, really well. And then I think that there are things that they need help with. Because what's the point of two companies coming together if everything that we've accomplished just gets wiped out and we just sort of blindly conform to what the other company does? What's the point of that? I've decided that it's not worth it. And I've decided that, look, if who I am and what I bring to the table doesn't add value, then so be it, right? Then whatever group I'm in, whether it's an employer or socially, or with some sort of a recreational association, if who I am honestly and genuinely doesn't jive with who they are, and that creates conflict or creates discord, okay. If people get uncomfortable by what I bring to the table, that's their problem, not mine. And I'm already having a couple tough conversations with people because you can tell they're sort of like, well, that's just not the way we do it here. I said, I get that. It's the way we did it there, so why don't we work together to find a solution? I don't mind sticking out. We have a bunch of us were having a chat over lunch, and I asked about something that seemed a little off. And they all kind of put their hands up and said, yeah, that's just kind of the way it is. That's just the reality of this setup, and there's nothing we can do about it. And me, and I can't leave something like that alone. What do you mean there's nothing we can do about it? Yeah, it's impossible to fix. It's just kind of the way it is. Well, why? Well, because of this. All right, well, why do you think they're doing that? And you get the point. And I wasn't being antagonizing, and we were having a good conversation, but I said, okay, so what you're talking about here is something that can be solved. It will take time, managerial courage, and a lot of effort. Well, yeah, okay, that's miles apart from can't be done. The world doesn't remember people who just kind of shrug their shoulders and go, that's the way it's always been. I've never read a book about someone like that. I've never seen a documentary about that. I've never gone to see someone speak who goes, it's just the way it's done. I've never seen someone who was really happy in their life, who has fulfilling relationships, and who is balanced, and who is evolved, who goes, it's just the way it is. It's just what it is. What are you going to do? That, to me, is surrender talk. And look, if that's what you want, okay, survival, sure. And I'm not judging, but it's not what I want. And I'm guessing it's not what you guys want because you're watching this. If you are like, meh, it's the way it is, you're probably not watching Instagram or YouTube videos on leveling up life and listening to guys like me yammer on about their philosophy on how we can do things better. But I'm amazed at how many people don't think like that, for one. But I think what's more frustrating to me and sad to me is how many people later came up to me and with hushed tones would be like, yo, I totally agree with you, but like, I just can't say that out loud. I can't agree with that because this person might disagree or that person might disagree. And I'm sorry that you feel the need to keep that to yourself. I'm sorry that whatever is needed, whether it's courage or confidence in your skill sets, whatever that is, I'm sorry that keeps you from being honest and true to yourself and sticking yourself out there and taking some chances. Is it possible that I could rub some people the wrong way? Of course. Have I done it before? Of course. But more often than not, does it lead to, that's a really cool idea. Can we explore that further? 100%. Is it any surprise that was the reaction I got today? That's a cool idea. Let's talk about that some more. Awesome. Blending in, not ruffling feathers, not rocking the boat, all of those things that have been talked about as being good things, that's death to me. And look, I'm not stupid. There's times where you just have to kind of lay low. But if I'm doing that, it's because I'm biding my time. It's because I'm setting up the right circumstance and the right opportunity. You meet the CEO for the first time. You're not going to go talk about all the reasons why you think something might be wrong and how you can come in and fix it. No, that's dumb. But if I get to know this person, might I take the opportunity when the time is right to say, mind if I bend your ear on something? Of course, I'm going to. And they might go, don't agree with that. Or they might go, that's an interesting idea. Let's talk about that some more. And I personally live for, that's a cool idea. Let's talk about that some more. If you're not even prepared to think about the idea, and then you're not prepared to vocalize what that idea might look like and how we might make that happen, and dealing in the possible rather than an impossible, I don't know that you're going to evolve, because I don't think you ever evolve by going, it's just the way it is. Do you have the courage to be true to yourself? Do you have the courage to rely on your skills, to know that, look, I'm going to be able to do this in such a way that I'm low probability I'm not going to get fired? Might rub some people the wrong way, maybe, but don't do that intentionally. And don't walk into the whole, it's just the way I am, take it or leave it. They'll leave it more often than not. You have to be looking to add value. You have to be able to adjust your tactics. But you also need to have the courage to put some ideas out there that aren't perfectly in line with everybody else. Because what's the point? How do you add extraordinary value when you think in an ordinary capacity? And I think there's a lot of people, and I coach some people, and I've mentored some people in the industry. They want raises, and they want promotions, and they want more. And I would say, okay, what have you done? Well, I've done this, 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 and this. Sounds like your job description. Yep. Have you been paid every 2 weeks? Yep. Congratulations, you're ordinary. What have you done that's extraordinary? What have you done that when you leave, people go, who the hell was that person? How the hell did that person get in here? What was that about? How do we get more of that guy? Or, holy crap, that guy adds so much value, we need to pay him more. Holy crap, that guy has so much value. Let's not hem him in by some weird job description, but let's let him run free and see what he can do. Let's not limit what this person can do. Let's let him run. How many times has that happened to you? Unless you're adding outsized value, unless you're taking chances and thinking differently, you're ordinary. And look, there's nothing wrong with being ordinary except for the fact that you don't want to be ordinary. I mean it. You tell someone you're ordinary, the overwhelming majority of the people on the planet are not going to take that as a compliment. It's not meant as a slant. But it's true, we don't live and strive to be ordinary. And if we think we do, it's probably because we don't have the self-confidence that we need. We haven't developed the skills yet. We haven't had the courage to take action, to learn the skill sets, to develop competence. It's a process, right? But we don't get up every day striving for ordinary. We strive to be extraordinary. And how do you become extraordinary? You separate yourself from the ordinary by taking chances. You stick your neck out. You say, you know what, I appreciate that. Respectfully, I'm not sure that I understand. Help walk me through why that's the case, and I'd love to see if there's something we can do about it. That's an interesting problem. I know it has nothing to do with what you pay me to do. Do you think I can help maybe solve that problem? Extraordinary takes risks. Extraordinary takes courage. Be extraordinary. And if you're going to settle for ordinary, that's okay. But then you need to expect ordinary at best in return. You're not guaranteed ordinary. Because the more people that settle for ordinary, the less value that brings you, or the less value that you bring to others. And there's always someone willing to do ordinary for less. Always. That's supply and demand, right? Someone is always willing to do ordinary for less. How do you get more? How do you get better? How do you make an impact? And I'm not talking just money. How do you influence people? How do you get your voice heard? How do you step up in your family life? How do you be a better leader within your home? How do you be a better spouse? How do you be a better father or mother? By being extraordinary. Very few people look up to ordinary because you get washed out in the noise. And not only do the people around you deserve your extraordinary self, but you deserve extraordinary if you're prepared to step up and do it. Because I guarantee you, in some facet of your life, you have the potential to be extraordinary. Maybe not all facets. I don't have the capacity to be physically extraordinary. I'm slightly better than average, maybe, and I'm broken half the time as a result of it. But there are elements in my life that I have the opportunity to be extraordinary, and I seize them whenever I can. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to let the world see what you're thinking and how you feel that you can add value in your own unique way. Because, well, they don't make movies about ordinary. They don't write books about an ordinary. People don't get excited for ordinary. And as I said, that's okay, but I feel like that's not what you're after. That's not what the people around you deserve. And that's not what you deserve. So go out there, be extraordinary. I'm going to go home and hang out with my extraordinary family. And I'm going to have an absolutely wonderful evening, and I hope you do too. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.